Good evening. This is Ken at Tortoise Capital with a swing portfolio speed run for December 18th, 2020. Weekly charts. No markups, or do we want the markups? I guess we want markups. Alcoa has rolled over and is ready to get short here on the intraday basis to the edge of the box, pick up the short on a swing at 16. Apple has broken out of the trading box, and we got a couple good days of long positions there. Amazon leaning to the upside, but still locked in the middle. Boeing we're short from 226.64 when it fell out of the bottom. Target is Bollinger Band mean. Caterpillar long and strong, just an amazing company. The stop has now moved up here to the weekly low after the initial breakout from here. Cliff Natural Resources, we're long and strong. I moved my stop up to here intraday. That feels pretty good. Wouldn't be wrong if you took that as a gain and just accepted 1348 from a breakout at 1138. That's a 20% gain. The Dow creeping upward. You got to be long. Devon Energy long and strong after the breakout from the support level here, and entries around 1123. The 3 days in a row of no further gains. I was close to taking that as an exit. I'm going to move my stop to here, but I like it still on the long side, but it's vulnerable. Emerging markets just been crushing it since the breakout from our trading box. This is good to go. I would added another position here on Wednesday. I would move the stop to here. This is where I add a second position. I think I'm going to take a one-day low as the exit. Would not short that. Crushing it in Ethereum Trust. I mean, just had a 9-to-1 split and just exploded again today. Wow. Any good? Very good. You got to see that on dailies. Japan continuing to crush it. That's the stealth play in the world. It's not really Europe. It's not the U.S. and pushing all-time high. Look at that. Japan. Who knew? Oh, we did. That's right. From the breakout from the box. Mexico. I'm cautiously long on this one. I'm going to hold it until the original stop was here, but I'm going to take a weekly low as the stop now. I still think 47 is in range. I would look to add a position above 43. Mexico, I'm sorry, Brazil moved my stop up to here today. Add a second position if it breaks out from there. Bitcoin crushing it, love it. Got to move the stop up to about there. And the reason for that is I'm not going to give back any of the irrational exuberance money. I'm just going to lock that right there. Initiating coverage here on the biotechs. We're a couple weeks late on that. Should have had that sooner. But, what are you going to do? Can't catch them all. I like that. I would add on any breakout from here with a stop at the weekly low. I would not be getting short biotechs for any reason whatsoever on weeklies. Russell is crushing it in the U.S. I think you got to move your stop up to, I'd go like right about there, and I would add another one. Should have been adding breakouts here and here and here, but we'll get that next position on at here. McDonald's, we caught that one just right. Oh, the daily chart on this is super. Yeah, the breakout from the yellow box initiated the swing and the day trade, so we've been enjoying the volatility, and the swing trade is working, and it just went from winter to spring on the daily, And so when we look at the weekly, you can see that thing is heading back to 220. Could get to 230. That wouldn't be crazy. Microsoft got long here. I would add another position on a breakout above 220. Put your stop right there. Third position if it breaks out above that. MicroStrategy, I'm just studying that. Nothing to say on it yet, but they're they are a stealth Bitcoin play. Pretty savvy CEO, but he's a gunslinger, and they dumped all their cash into Bitcoin. Just studying them. Neo, got the long position here on the breakout of the box. I would add another position if it breaks above the 2-week high. Third position if it breaks out above the peak of the RL10. I would say right about there. I would get short on that one if it breaks below the yellow box. I like it though. Nikola, we got short this week, and we got to see why. Because it broke down below, and nobody likes that change of CEOs in the. This is not a time to be timid in the electrical vehicle space. That's what General Motors and Ford are there for. But if you're Nikola, you should be shooting for the stars, I think. NVIDIA. Long from here, I would add a second position on the breakout above, say, 539. Killing Intel in the chip space. The FANGs really started moving out. That's just the return of the big techs. Why not? Clean energy, back on board from the doji action. Long from 90 and a half, and closed very strong up in here. So we got a couple positions in. I would add another position if it gets above 100. Palantir, just studying it, nothing to recommend yet, day trade only. Ackman Hedge Fund, I think that's, for me, that's like a cash position almost, I mean, that's just a guy that's grinding and getting it done. I mean, I think he's tapped into something solid here. 2 weeks down in a row on a day or on a week when the market was up. Let's see. I think I would play the yellow box strictly, either direction. QLV is a ETF, stylistic ETF, quality stocks with low volatility. It's got a lot of Microsoft and Apple in it, which is a conservative tech play, which I heard described today as a cash position. So the folks at ARK Investment, who are just destroying everybody else in the hedge fund space, and who they have shifted to genomics, the genome space, and biotechs, have had their nice run in Tesla, and they look at Microsoft and Apple as a cash equivalent, as the place where they park their money when they're trying to figure out where they really want to put their money. They require a 15-year projected growth rate for 5 years in a row is what it takes to get into their list. And so I found that to be an interesting discussion of Apple and Microsoft. But this QLV is solid, and that bodes very well for the market on the long side. The Qs, crushing it. Silver finally had a little recovery this week, and we'll see if that's reflected in wheat and precious metals when we get there. But but there's a lid on silver up here at 26. So maybe if you're going to trade that one, I would trade it through Wheaton and start with day trades first. But that's been very vulnerable to the surge in Bitcoin. It's taken away a lot of the speculative money away from gold and silver, I think. Steel. Maybe at the end of a run. I was day trading them this week, but that makes me cautious. So I exited the swings, and I'm now ready to do just day on that. It's at a cross up here near Z3 after this kind of run. Well, we'll see. Virgin Galactic, I can't swing this one, but it did break down beautifully from our trading box, getting short around 26 and a quarter, and is now down at 23. I would continue to reinforce that to the downside. But that one is radioactive. It needs daily attention. Simon Property Group. Boy, this one is just, I don't have any money in it, but I'm watching it as a way to gauge the Main Street recovery of the economy and the way that's going to respond to Biden administration. I think it's, the jury is still out on this one. Day trade only. The S&P we'll talk about later. Treasuries, still a vote up for the Biden administration in equities because treasuries are just dead money right now. Tesla just smashing things left and right. But they go in on the 22nd, and you got to believe that most of the buying is done. Don't you have to believe that? I don't know. We'll see what happens on it. This one is going to be there's an interesting dilution effect in there. Who hasn't bought it yet? What keeps that kind of move going? Although it hit 695 in the aftermarket after closing around 670. It just wow. No, I'm sorry, closed at 695. I know it was up a little bit higher than that in the aftermarket, but what an anomaly. That's just a one-off. Regular rules do not apply. Twitter, killing it, long at 52, and locking this in. I think your stop should be like right about there at Z2.5. Keep buying that one. Oil, going hard, going strong, benefiting from short-term political adverse news with Russian hacking. Oil's days are certainly numbered, but you don't know if that number is 20 years, or 20 months. I think it's probably more like 20 years. But the whole energy sector is responding, and I think PBW is really embracing the joy of the end of the oil era. Volatility still declining, and it near lows down here. Is it unlikely to spike in the holiday season on lower volume? Or is that when retail traders are going to get spooked? I don't know. But the Risk Z is telling us to be wary of volatility spikes. Walmart. So we're tracking this one. Initially, the breakout of the box, but then started selling off immediately. It's still from this box that we framed up. We were wondering, is it going to look like this to get back into, around 152, or is it collapsing? It's just worriedly non-committal. That's still going to be a high priority for stocking for me next week. Wheaton did not respond as well as silver did. That's why I'm cautious on the silver move until Wheaton starts benefiting. Win long and just grinding out on the intraday and the daily charts on Win because it's a frog champion. I can't bring myself to trade this longer term swing on weeklies, but how is that possible when COVID is running amok, unless that's a response to optimism about the vaccine effect? Hard to see why that should be up there. U.S. Steel, I think it's had its peak out here past Z3 and was disappointing going into the close today. There were a couple days this week when it had some intraday joy, but I can't see another 4-week period like that. And so I think it's vulnerable to the downside, especially below 16 and a quarter. That doesn't mean short it, except for intraday, because it has murdered shorts all the way up this stack. But this feels like it's cracked, and caution is advised. Another one on this is the other biotech, and everything is just good to go. That's just put money in it and dollar cost average in. Materials, I think, are near the end of a run. Hard to see another great big surge like this in basic materials until we see what an infrastructure bill might look like. But and energy feels like it peaked, but oil is still climbing. So we'll see if that is just the pause that refreshes. You may be able to get in a good price under 40, and then if it breaks out of the river, there could be a short-term swing in there. Same with finance. I just wait to see the administration. Tech has recovered and surging nicely. Has gone up like 2 levels of trading regions there. That feels good. Healthcare, cautiously optimistic. I would buy the breakout again above 113 with about a $2 stop. I can't see getting short that though. If you do, wait till it gets to 111. And then finally, oil exploration. That still feels toppy to me, even though on a weekly basis it's turned to summer. The fact that it couldn't hold the gains and closed poorly, albeit at fair value, I would put this as a let's see, maybe a frame like that and even tighter. I think that's how I want to trade that next week, like that. Ready to go in either direction. All right, that's the swing trade portfolio speed run. Some things to get after in there. The cryptocurrencies are all the rage. Dangerous, but opportunity. And the cloud company giants are back, and biotech is just crushing it. You got to be in it, and clean energy's back. I think you got to be in it. Tesla is just a one-off, and do your due diligence and live with the consequences. But had a nice close, but wow, next week fireworks there. All right, guys, thanks for your kind attention.